Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Bands A to Z. We are finishing up with July. We have arrived at the letter X. Just a couple left, right? This is an interesting one. So, of course, just to recap, we have been doing this show throughout the month of July, each day a different letter of the alphabet. I'm picking my favorite band that starts with that letter, or if it's an artist, the first letter of the last name, picking a favorite album, and I'm picking a runner-up each day as well, and a favorite album by that band or artist. So today, X. Most people have been like, Pete, are you going to just take X off? No, I'm not going to take X off, because there was one really obvious answer here as my favorite. Trying to find a second or a runner-up was the challenge, right? Because how many bands or artists start with X, right? So obviously, my favorite, really the only one, is XTC, all right? And Black Sea, their fourth album, is my pick. Favorite album by them. A lot of really good albums. I mean, this is a really interesting band. Not your typical type of group that I normally listen to, but I really like the eccentric nature of this band. Of course, XTC labeled as a post-punk, pop, art rock type of band. Not quite prog, not quite punk, not quite new wave. Kind of like somewhere in between all of those things. A really good, quirky, artful band that wrote a lot of really great melodies and songs, expert instrumentation, right? The albums are very enjoyable and weird, and they all kind of sound really different. Many people have, proclaimed this a genius band. And, I did not grow up listening to these guys. I'm a really late comer to XTC. I only really started listening to them a couple of years ago. But I've been enjoying the whole catalog over the last couple of years. If you haven't seen it, Martin Popoff and I did an epic ranking the album show on XTC, which was a lot of fun. And, I think a real eye-opener for both of us. For him kind of going back and re-listening to the whole catalog, and me working on months of listening to the catalog and digesting the catalog for the first time. But I don't want to digress. But yeah, check that out here on the channel. But yeah, really cool, quirky band, really interesting. Not an everyday listen for me, but I do enjoy every now and then when I'm in the mood for some kind of real, British art pop, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like I said, little bits of new wave, little bits of punk early on. Definitely some sophisticated stuff later in their career. Definitely some psych, right, as well. This is a really great song. Respectable Street Generals and Majors, Love at First Sight, Rocket from a Bottle. A lot of great songs on here. Paper and Iron Towers of London. Just really, really cool, intelligent, lots of great melodies and little British weirdness here and there. It's just a fun band, a fun album. I have a lot of albums I like from this band. I generally go to this one as my favorite. Because sometimes, a couple of songs will help raise and elevate specific albums in your favorites list, right? And that's kind of it with me. They may have stronger albums start to finish, or maybe not, but this one, a lot of fun to listen to. All right, so as far as my runner-up, so here we have it. I don't own or really know of any other bands or artists that start with X that I have ever listened to in my life. However, stranger things have happened. In the last couple of weeks, so if you guys caught a new show we do once a month here on the channel called The Guitarist Corner, Chris Canzaneri, in our previous episode, mentioned a guitar duo team in a Japanese band called X Japan, all right, or X, right? So I went and listened to a little bit of these guys, all right, and lo and behold, pretty good. Can't say that I own anything by them. Can't say that I've listened to all of their output, because quite frankly, I've listened to a couple songs here and there and listened to the most of their first album, which is called Vanishing Vision from 1988. So that's my pick for runner-up. X, or X Japan as they're commonly known as. Pretty cool kind of speed metal band that started in the 80s. They're still around to this day. They've released very spotty albums over the years. In fact, I think they only have maybe a half a dozen overall or something like that. Let's see, how many albums do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually 5, and they have one coming. So Vanishing Vision from 88, Blue Blood from 89, Jealousy 91, Art of Life 93, Dahlia 96. They have since been pretty silent for a long period of time, and they've got an untitled 6th album coming up, which I guess this year. So X Japan, kind of a cool, interesting dual guitar power speed metal band from Japan that's been around since the 80s. That's going to have to do, because otherwise I got nothing. So X Japan is my runner-up. The wonderful XTC is my pick for X. There you have it for the letter X today. Not a hell of a lot to say here today, but tomorrow will be a little bit different. So tomorrow is Y. Can you guess who I'm going to pick tomorrow? I bet you can. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're on YouTube all the damn time. Today, I almost wish today was the letter Z, because I would love to just sit and talk more about ZZ Top and the late, great Dusty Hill. But if you haven't seen my tribute video, which I posted last night, please do so. Please listen to some ZZ Top today in remembrance of the great Dusty Hill. Losing too many of these guys over the last couple of weeks and months. I mean, geez, Robbie Steinhardt, Dusty Hill, Mike Howe. I mean, Jeff from Cinderella and Joey from Slipknot and John from Uriah Heep and the great John Lawton. Man, too many in recent weeks and months. I hope it kind of calms down for a bit, because it sucks when you lose your musical heroes, right? I mean, we know we're all getting older, and they are too, but that's just the way life goes. But man, it's just, you're never ready for it, right? So yeah, I was cranking some ZZ Top last night. I'll be doing that again today, wearing the shirt proudly. Probably do it again tomorrow. So or I have more ZZ Top shirts. Don't worry, I'm not wearing the same shirt every day, guys. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up tonight here on the show, we've got The Monsters Den. Chris Allo and myself are going to rank our 5 favorite Stuart Gordon horror films. Of course, Stuart Gordon, the great director of From Beyond and Reanimator and a bunch of other cool films. So we're going to be doing that tonight. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow morning at the Funhouse, Martin Popoff and I are going to be tackling the long-awaited album ranking of King's X. So stay tuned for that tomorrow morning. You do not want to miss that one. And I got to say, for all the hundreds of thousands of people who have asked, when are we going to cover King's X on this channel? We're finally counting down to the day. So you guys better watch it. All right. So a lot of work went into this. I went and picked up as much of the catalog as I could get, because there's a couple that are just completely out of print and impossible to get unless I want to spend King's ransom. So a King's ransom for King's X. But I've been listening to all these albums for months and months and months, and Martin's already a big fan. So tomorrow will be the day. So stay tuned for that and a lot more here at the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Our subscriber numbers are way up this month, which is really great to see. Keep them going. Hit that notification bell so you do not miss a single episode. All right, we've got the link to our Ko-Fi page below, where you can make a channel donation of whatever you'd like to help us buy more music, to review and rank and all that kind of stuff here on the channel, as well as occasionally get new equipment when we need it. I got a new camera on the way, so I'm looking forward to that. And link to our merch page below as well. We get all sorts of new Sea of Tranquility shirts and merchandise. All the new catchphrase shirts are available. The wonderful new In the Prague seat shirt. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely gorgeous. Got this great Roger Dean inspired space age artwork, right, with Sea of Tranquility, big Prague letters, and of course the name of the show, In the Prague Seat. And all sorts of our best-selling designs. The whale design is still selling really, really well, so check that out. We've also got shirts for the Monsters Den. We've got shirts for the Hudson Valley Squares, and we've my other channel. If you haven't checked it out, Comic Book Geezers. We've got shirts and mugs for Comic Book Geezers. Please go check out our other channel, Comic Book Geezers, if you have at least the slightest interest in 60s, 70s, and 80s comic books. Those are kind of the decades that we cover. My good buddy Wild Bill and occasionally my other buddy Kirk, we get together and we show, in case you guys don't know, all comic books, vintage stuff. So basically we all have very large collections. We talk, each show is a theme, right? So we show specific characters, villains, artists. We open up the books. We tell stories about when we first picked up these books, and cool stories from the past when we first started collecting when we were kids, even stories from what we're collecting now. We do videos where we go to comic conventions and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. My buddy Bill is actually also a comedian, stand-up guy, and he does a million impressions. So occasionally he will do impressions on the show, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So if you really just like people showing off cool artwork and talking about storylines and opening up classic books from the 60s and 70s, that's what it's all about. So check that out, Comic Book Geezers. Please subscribe over there if you haven't already, and hope you enjoy it. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you tonight with the Monsters Den, and right here once again tomorrow morning with Martin Popoff and another edition of Favorite Bands A to Z as we count down the rest of July. We move into August, which then becomes Forgotten Favorites each and every day of August. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I'm Pete Pardo. Bye-bye.